Hello again. Now we're going to run the lab number 2 for the DBCS workshop, Database Cloud Service hands-on workshop. We're going to install the sample schemas for our application. Normally, when you provision a database cloud service, you will start working with this service as your own database for your applications. And you have full control of this database running on the cloud. On a DBCS, you have full root privileges, full sysdba controls on the database installation and configuration. So let's start with the Enterprise Manager Express. I am still connected from my previous session to my compute node. And I'm going to follow the lab guide, lab number 2, to enable the Enterprise Manager Express on this DBCS instance. So first I can copy the commands from using this button here, or I can just select and copy the code. So I can copy it like this. And first I need to unlock the XDB, the Express database user, and to enable the port. The default port is 5500, 5500, whatever you want to call it. This is the default port for the Enterprise Manager Express on a DBCS environment. I have the SSH tunnel still running, and I can connect to my Enterprise Manager Express. So I can use the local host now to connect to my Enterprise Manager Express. I'm going to paste the link into my Firefox here, and this has no SSH certificate valid on this DBCS. You have to install your own certificates, but in this case, I'm going to go over this configuration because we need to make it faster, and there are some workarounds. In Mozilla Firefox, you have to accept the risk and continue. In Chrome, for example, you have to allow invalid certificates in your browser. So here I'm going to click Advanced and accept the risk and continue. This is the Enterprise Manager Express for my database cloud service. I can connect to my database cloud service using Enterprise Manager Express. I'm going to use the system user, the password I specified when I provisioned the DBCS system, the password, and I have to specify the container to which I want to connect. So I can connect to the root or to the PDB 011 container. I'm going to connect first to the root. And let's explore the database cloud service from the Enterprise Manager Database Express. This is how it looks like. It's the usual database manager, Enterprise Manager Express. We have also on-premise. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. And I'm going to provision another, I'm going to create another pluggable database in my database service. As I said, I have full control over this database installation. I can create any pluggable databases. I can do any configuration I want. Using the console, let me see if I'm still connected to the root. Yes, and I can show PDBs. I have only one PDB for my application, PDB 011. I'm going to create another PDB, which is called PDB 012. I'm going to use my Cloud Console. I'm going to go to the same DB system I just provision workshop DB, and I'm going to click the workshop, the database in my databases list here. So I'm going to click this database, which is still performing a backup right now. It takes maybe a few minutes until it finishes with the first backup, full backup of the database. And then I'm going to use pluggable databases dialog to create a new PDB called PDB012. So here at the bottom of the screen, I have pluggable databases. I'm going to say create pluggable database. I'm going to enter the name. And I also need to specify the password for the admin user and for the wallet. I'm going to use the same password. I'm going to unlock the PDB account, admin account. And I'm going to specify here the same password for the admin user and for the wallet. So I'm going to click create pluggable database. So this pluggable database is provisioning. I have to wait until the creation is completed, and then I'm going to connect again to this to SQL Plus to see this pluggable database created. I have some work requests. You can click on the work request if you want to see more details. Create pluggable database process, the creation process. You have log messages, error messages, and associated resources. So you can check these messages and how it goes until the creation is completed. My new pluggable database was created successfully. I have here the messages if I want to check. Nothing here on the error messages. So I'm under work requests now, and I'm checking the job of the creation of this pluggable database. So I can go back to pluggable database details. This is the PDB 012, and I can use again the breadcrumb links to go to database details. And now on this database, under pluggable databases, I can see two pluggable databases, the 011 and 012. And if I follow the documentation, it says connect to the DBCS and show the PDBs again. So if I use the console, I say show PDBs. I'm already connected. I don't have to reconnect. I can see PDB12 in read-write mode, and this is the second pluggable database I just created. Again, if I want to connect to this pluggable database, I can use the connection string. I can create here my own connection string using again the host domain name for the database service, because each database has a service which is which has the host domain name at the end. So I can connect directly to the PDB and show con name PDB12. And here I can again check the users, the schemas I have in this pluggable database, and I can see that I don't have the sample schemas installed in this pluggable database. The next step is to install the sample schemas. My application, let's say I have an application I want to deploy on this DBCS in one of the pluggable databases, and I need to install my schema. I can check the table spaces. I can create new table spaces, data files if I want. I wanted to show you the service names. So let me. These are the services. on my database server on my DBCS compute node. And with the listener control status, I can see all the services. And here I can see that I have the PDB 011 service, which has the name PDB 011 and the domain name. And then the PDB 012, which has the name PDB 12 dot the domain name. This is the default names the services, the database services get. So let's continue with the workshop guide. I can check the table spaces. I have just one single table space now, users for my data, and temp for my temporary files, for my temporary data. I can also check the data files for each one of the table spaces. As I'm using a logical volume manager, all my files are on disk. I am not using ASM. This is one choice we have when we deploy a DBCS on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. I can create a table space if I want for my application. Again, I can check the table spaces and the data files to see if the table space was created successfully. And then I need to get my sample schema. So I'm going to exit SQL Plus, and I'm going to download from GitHub my sample schemas installation zip file. This zip file contains the scripts we can use to install Oracle 19c sample schemas. And we have to run a perl command to set up the scripts. Let's unzip it first. DB sample schemas, and I'm going to run the perl command to configure the scripts on my database server. So I'm going to go back to my home directory, home folder again, where I have the DB sample schemas 19c unzipped sample schemas installation scripts. I'm going to create a folder for the logs, for the log files, just to keep them in the same folder. And I'm going to install the sample schemas in PDB 012 pluggable database. So I'm going to use this SQL Plus command to connect to my PDB 012 and run the command. So here again, when you run the command for the installation, you have to make sure the command is properly built. So we have the sample schemas SQL script, the password of the system user, of the sysdba, I think. Users is the table space for the data, and temp for the temporary table space. The password for the sample schema, the logs folder, and then the connection string. And here in the connection string, I have to copy again the domain name at the end. So I have to execute the correct script with the correct attributes in my database, my pluggable database, to install the sample schemas. And that's it. This is the installation for the HR sample schemas. Now it has finished. I'm going to show the user. The user, normally, if the sample schema has been successfully installed, if the user is the same sample schema we just installed. We have the HR user, and here are the tables we have created with this script. So I can run some SQL to verify the schema. I'm selecting some data from the employees table, and that's it. Let's install also the other schema, the SH, the sales history schema. So let's exit this session. This is the HR user, which we don't need now. And I'm going to connect again as sysdba to my PDB 012. And first, before I run the command, the installation script, I want to make sure that all the attributes are correct. So this is the sys password, table space, temp table space, sample schema password, the location of the sales history data, the logs folder, the version, and here is the connection string. In the connection string, I need to copy again the host domain name before I can launch the installation script. So this is the installation script running. It's going to take longer because the sales history schema is a bigger schema. It has more data in this sample schema. And once it is finished, I'm going to verify the data. Well, I'm going to check just the number of rows in my SH tables. It creates some indexes, comments, gathering statistics. This is also important. It takes a couple of minutes. And now it is finished. So let's show the user. User is SH. Verify the number of rows in SH tables. So we have this is the number of rows in each table in SH schema, and this is also the end of the lab. Thank you very much.